BYOT. Bring your own tacos.
Dick swinging.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool.
That's a decent amount of sausage.
This man needs a doctor!
Yeah, I just hope they're tasty.
What's up with these clowns, man?
Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with
Hey, so we got a nice little Halloween episode prepared for you here. I know it's not Halloween quite yet,
but we got a little treat early on for you. We're really excited about it. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I'm pretty stoked, but there's something important we gotta say beforehand.
And that's the fact that we're working on something special for the actual release date of Halloween.
Yeah, there is a little something special we're hoping to give you, but we don't want to say too much on it. Could curse it. You never know. It might not come through at the end. But
for this episode, it is going to be more spooky and possibly and most probably violent stories. Yeah. So there's your content warning.
Yeah, a little extra one. I mean, you should know walking in with us what to expect.
It'll be less about shit and more about murder in this one. And if you're watching our live stream, our backgrounds kind of match that. We have a Halloween theme going on.
Yeah, you should definitely check out the live. It looks nice and pretty. It's different than just listening. I like it. I don't know. Check it out.
Add a little visual element for you.
Hell yeah. But let's say welcome to American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, just changing the name. All right.
Oh, yeah. Throwing a little moniker on there.
Okay. All right. I'll stay the same. I'm still Matt.
Oh, you're still Matt? No, you're not going to.
I don't like change, man.
Matt Voorhees.
Nah, not Jason. Nah.
You're more of a Michael guy.
I'd be I was gonna say I'd be like a Matt Myers. I could be like the little brother of my.
There you
Michael.
go, Matt Myers. So at the beginning of our show, we always like to give a little shout out to the people who retweet our episode on Twitter. And this time around, we got a decent amount of retweets. But I ain't even gonna tell you how many because Matt made a rule last time for the month of October.
I did. I cheated. I was lazy. How do you like that? Include a holiday?
I wouldn't call it it's themed.
Kind of.
And his pick was 31 because, of course, October, Halloween, falls on the 31st. This time around, we got I think this is a new addition to the pod shout out. It is at Non-Mom Happy Hour, and it's a non-mom happy hour podcast with hosts Debbie, Joe, and Kelly.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And they're a podcast celebrating real-ass human women, whether they've used their baby box or not. Account managed by Kelly. They're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Podbean, and Spotify. They're out of Tennessee. And they also have a website, anonmomhappyhour.com.
Awesome. Definitely check them out.
Yeah, it sounds funny. And follow them on Twitter at nonmomhappyhour. So congrats on that. And if you want to win yourself a little shout-out on our show, make sure to go follow us at AMERSLKR Podcast on Twitter and just retweet our pinned tweet. It's the easiest way to get that shout out.
Hell yeah. You could win.
So, Matt, what do we got coming up in today's Halloween-themed episode?
Ooh. That was my ghostly.
There you go.
Yeah, it worked. You're scared. All right, so we're starting out with the bizarre news, as always. And it's only fitting that we have this story. A chainsaw versus a lawnmower. Mayhem. All right, it's perfect. It's perfect. Then we're gonna move in to a new segment we've kind of concocted out of Slacker history, and we've made spooky Slacker stories, which are true accounts of history that are just murderous events on Halloween night. And
Things
then
to keep you up at night.
Oh yeah. And then to finish it off, we've got a Halloween edition of Wheel of Weird. So stick around. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It will be a little spooky.
And we can't forget that with our weird news, we always like to start out with a little bit of weed news. Oh, and before we get into all the spookiness, we got something to celebrate. Canada, as everyone may know, has made cannabis legal throughout the entire nation.
Very smart move.
And I believe I believe they're only the second country to do so.
Yeah, that's crazy. What was the first? Norway? Like, I don't even remember. I
want to say Portugal, because they made everything legal. I want to say.
For some reason, I thought it was European. Okay.
I could be wrong on that. But that's not what we're talking about, because everyone knows from all the reporting that's been happening that Canada has legalized, and that's like the big thing. But what people don't know is that it differs from area to area and within Canada how you can procure your marijuana. If you're a weed tourist, maybe you've headed out to Colorado before to pick up and enjoy because you live in a state where it's not legal yet. A lot of people are probably thinking the same for Canada.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Weed tourism is like a $1 million business. Approximately 82.4 million people visited Colorado in 2016 alone.
That's insane. That's insane.
And they said about 15% of that or 15% of that 82.4 million people participated in marijuana-related activities.
Hell yeah, man! It's like the Amsterdam within the fucking country. It's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd expect the same sort of thing for Canada. They're expected to be worth at least $5 billion in sales in 2018, and it should reach $28 billion by 2024.
Man,
with all the domestic sales and then people coming in for tourism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of money.
Hell yeah, dude! It's a smart move. I bet you there's gonna be a lot of positive from this.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
like we've seen with all the small states that do it.
But as the consumer, you gotta educate yourself, because in certain parts, they're not actually gonna have dispensaries like brick and mortar stores. They're gonna only have delivery, like in Montreal. So you'll have to have it actually delivered using like looking on weed maps or doing like some sort of cannabis delivery service.
That's sick. That's it, man. There's a lot of options. That's what's up.
Yeah, and I mean, just keep that in mind though when you're planning a trip. If you're like, oh, I want to go to Canada and go into a store and get what I want, or like go and get oil or edibles, it's only flowers. That's another thing.
Yeah. Only flowers.
You can't get oil in
That's crazy because it's still concentrated like substance. Is that why?
I'm not exactly sure why. It's just like all they've approved is the sale of flowers.
So straight bud. That's all you can get.
So it's very different than say like Colorado or California.
Yeah, where you can just go get fucking oil pen or just raw grams of like different types of oil or shatter or whatever.
Yeah, and that's like something that like maybe they'll amend in the future. I hope they would, because market research shows that 95% of sales 5 years ago were flowers, but now it's just 50% of sales in the cannabis industry.
That makes sense. So a lot of people don't want to smoke, and they use edibles, and then of course you want to have the concentrate as well.
Because you're sectioning off a whole portion of the market of people who don't smoke and just use like tinctures or whatever. So read up on where you're going. If you're planning on smoking in Canada, we'll be posting this marketwatch.com article up on our Facebook page, so you can read a little bit more if you're interested.
Yep, check it out. Well, our next story, we're staying in Canada, and we're going to Ripley's Aquarium. And we got a
Is this like Ripley's Believe It or Not?
I think it's the same thing, right? Ripley they have a bunch of shit. I'm pretty sure.
Unless there's some other Ripley.
We're gonna say it is. Correct us if we're wrong. So we got a gentleman at Ripley's Aquarium of Canada, and he must have been hot, man, because he decided he needed to take a swim. The only problem with it is he jumped into a tank full of sharks, butt ass naked.
Oh damn.
Butt ass naked. Yeah, there's videos from multiple people standing around, and this guy just like doing a couple laps in a tank full of fucking sharks.
Oh, I'd whip out my
dick dangling. He's chumming the water with his stuff. All right,
chumming it with the chode. It's terrifying. Was he like on something?
Well, we don't know. The police are still looking for this man, and this is not the only issue that they have with this guy. He's apparently assaulted somebody at medieval times as well, earlier in the day, before he took his lap. So like they
Punch
ID'd
someone
the
out?
guy. Yeah. So they ID'd the guy at the aquarium, and then they realized he had been wanted from an earlier actual situation where he fucking broke 2 windows, like 2 glass doors rather, and just walked in and assaulted a dude who was just sitting there smoking a cigarette. Basically, fucking gave him a whole like black like eye inside of his face and busted one of his teeth, dude. Like straight up, gave him a beating. And they don't even know each other. Yeah,
wait, he wasn't naked at that point, right?
No. He was clothed. Yeah, I should definitely specify that he had clothing on. He wasn't just, walking in there trying to prove a point in multiple ways.
Okay.
That's a hell of a statement.
I
You walk in balls naked as fuck.
This is a Ripley's Believe It or Not aquarium.
Okay, it is. Okay. Yeah, I figured. I mean, who else is going to be a dick and name something Ripley's? I mean,
We'll get so much runoff from those Believe It or Not fuckers.
Yeah. Believe it. Ripley's Believe It. So I mean, the guy, we don't know if he's on drugs, if he's just mentally ill, like what. But obviously, he's off the hinges.
Taking a bath at the aquarium.
Yeah, man.
I'd imagine like most aquariums I've been to, they aren't like just open top like to the shark pit. You gotta like work your way behind the scenes to like get into the tank.
This one has like a railing around like a huge like pit. So he just jumped the security barrier and like yoked his clothes off, jumped in. His girlfriend was there too, which is weird. So like his girlfriend watched him do this, and he just got out, fucking put his clothes back on, and walked out. Yeah.
There's no like normally when we get these kinds of stories, we find some way to rationalize like why the people may have done it. But I'm stumped. I'm stumped on this.
If you can put this together, I mean, a random assault and destruction of property at fucking medieval times, and then he goes to the aquarium. He's just trying to ruin people's fun.
This story had everything. It had costume, medieval people, naked guy, sharks.
I laughed. I cried.
Yeah, seriously. It took me on it's a roller coaster of emotions.
Man. Yeah, still though, dick swinging in a fucking aquarium with sharks, dude. This guy has literal balls of steel. I mean, there's no... What the fuck, dude?
That'd be bad for the shark's teeth.
And I'm talking swimming... I'm talking swimming fucking face down, too. Not like he was doing backstroke so they come up and bite your butt cheek. Nah, they come up, they're biting it right off.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's insane. No, I've never put my nuts in that kind of compromise.
Ken doll.
Yeah, seriously. If you survive that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I guess aquarium sharks are pretty well fed.
Let's take a little nibble.
You know, you don't have to like worry about them as much. If you turn up missing in like a shark tank, though, your family would end up, having to bury you, like the man in our next story. But there was a twist. There was a twist, Matt.
There was a twist. What happened?
He wasn't dead. He came home months later.
Zombie. I knew it.
Not if you're having a shark attack. There's no shark attack in this story, but a man from Toronto who's a musician had wandered downtown by himself and gone missing for a couple months. And his family, was like, okay, our 80-year-old grandfather, relative, whatever, isn't coming back, I guess. And they got reports from authorities saying that they found an elderly man in the hospital who had suffered from injuries from a fall.
Okay.
And they're like, oh shit, that must be him. So they go and they reportedly identify the body and say that, yep, that's him. And they even had a funeral and buried him.
Wow, he was just so messed up apparently that they couldn't tell. There's like, what?
I guess, like, how else would you like
land it head first?
Or maybe they just can't tell the difference between old people. They're like, they're ageist. They're like, yeah, every old fuck looks like the same to me. So
that's an old fuck. Yep, that's him.
Yep, he's old. That must be him. So they identified him, they buried him, and then a few days after that, he walked right back in the door. Should have
never buried him at Pet Cemetery.
Yep, that'll do it. It's the Stephen King Memorial Cemetery, even though Stephen King's still alive. Yeah, it's one of those odd things, and then they're like, wait, then who did we bury?
Oh, God.
Well, the fucked up thing I was thinking is, like, burials cost a lot, like, and you just did that for, like, no reason. They're gonna exhume the body, yes. But that's like out of pocket, man.
Well, you guys gonna refund us? Like, this was you should have done DNA.
I'm happy you came home, but that costs. Like, would you mind just climbing in? We already paid for it. Like, we're just trying to like save a few bucks.
They're gonna dig him up. The tombstone's already written. It has your name, everything. We're just going to change the date. We're going to dig him up. We're going to pull him out real quick. You're just going to jump in. We're going to close it, put it back down all in one swoop so we don't have to pay him to bury him and come back.
Leave the dirt off to the side. Leave it open. We'll be back in a few weeks.
Oh, no. Just have him there waiting for the excavation and just, throw him in there immediately. That way you don't have to build the construction guys come back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're talking about live burials?
Yeah, just put him in there. Yeah. Give him a couple.
I was thinking we leave the top open, convertible style.
Oh man, like just in the hole, non-buried, and you're just chilling there waiting to die, or
that way if he decides to walk back in the door another couple months later, it's like, all right, at least we don't have to unbury shit again.
Can't get rid of this fuck.
Yep, no, that was him. It was him this time.
Oh man, that's horrible. That's horrible. I wonder if they were like, shit. I was glad you were dead.
Or that'd be like seeing a ghost. Straight up. That'd be like seeing a ghost. They'd knock on the door and then they'd be like, wait, I live here. And then they'd walk in. And you'd be like, what the fuck?
Imagine. Oh my god, yeah, you think they're dead and they just walk in?
Yeah. It's like, is this real life?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that would be real trippy. I could not even imagine. Man, well.
Little side note before we move on from that. Never mentioned what happened to him during the months that he was gone. Not brought up in the article whatsoever. I know a lot of people are probably wondering that listening to this. What happened? Where was he then? It's like, I have no idea.
True. Yeah, I didn't even.
That was left out, and I feel like it's an important point.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He went on a journey. He went on a walkabout.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh my god. He's seen some things.
Right?
Man. Well, the gentleman in our next story really was close to disappearing and never coming back.
Oh, shit.
We got a 62-year-old man who, in Arizona, he lives on a property that has a gold mine. And the problem with this is it's an old sketchy gold mine with random areas that the fucking have holes and you could fall into shafts.
Okay. Like shafts that they would lower supplies down with or something?
Yeah, there's all kinds of entrances to it, and service holes like that where they would lower supplies deeper into the cavern without having to build an actual ladder system or anything else. And so this guy was walking around his property just checking up on things, probably owns a couple of acres, wanted to check up around, fucking somehow fell in, man, to 100-foot deep shaft.
Holy
dude,
shit.
Fucking broke both of his legs. 62-year-old guy, right? You would think he's pretty fucked, right? He's just dude, he
stayed down for help at that point.
He stayed down there for 48 hours on his own. That's not all. Sitting there with broken ass legs in fucking terrible pain. He had to fight off a trio of rattlesnakes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently they started slithering all over him and he fucking killed them one by one.
Well, he did land in their living room.
Yeah, true, right? Oh my god. It's just so crazy to think about, falling down a fucking shaft 100 feet, which is 10 stories, people. Right? Fucking breaking your shit. And then rattlesnakes, man. They're fucking fat snakes. They're not like a little fucking garter snake. That is a fat ass, 4 to 7 feet.
They're very territorial. So, if you're just sitting there, you're like, dude, my legs are broken. I can't get away from you. I'm sorry. And he's just like...
edging closer.
I told you, back up.
I can't back up anymore.
What did he? So he's just bitch slapping him.
Dude, it doesn't. No article says how he killed him, but I'm imagining he grabbed him by the tail and gave him a good old rodeo swing.
Just a whip against the wall,
dude. Right? How else will you dispatch a fucking snake like that? You gotta
keep him.
You do the windmill.
Keep them alive and latch them together. Make a rope of snakes that you then throw up the 100-foot shaft while with your legs broken on the ground.
You leave one alive and have it carry him up.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta get more of them and then leave one alive to carry the 99 other carcasses up as a rope.
There you go.
It'd take a while to collect that many rattlesnakes.
So he survives.
So, yeah, he had no cell service down in the bottom of this hole. He was fucked, man. Somehow, luckily, his neighbor next door, must be his old chap, you know, they talk from time to time. He was like, you know what? I haven't heard from him in a while. And he decided to go over to his house. He wasn't there. He started to drive around the property, and he started hearing him, hey, help me! You know, like, and he heard him faintly, and he's like, oh shit. And he figured out where he was down one of these shafts.
Wow.
Yeah, and he walked around to get signal, called the authorities, and it took him 6 hours to get this guy out.
Damn.
6 hours,
Did he
man.
toss? I'm imagining he like threw a water bottle down to him.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
Imagine that, like, fuck. Ow.
It would just like smack open anyway.
Right? Try and catch it. And break
Unless it
your
was
hand.
like a metal
Damn it.
one, and then you're just gonna kill him.
No. Do not.
God.
It's got to be like one of those small plastic ones. That's the only
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, lower it down on some fishing string, like a fishing pole.
Lowering it would probably be
While you're
smarter.
waiting.
You don't want me on a rescue team.
Nah,
I'd be like,
dude. Here, dude, you just fucking kill me.
need a flashlight?
Fucking mag light
Yeah,
is the
100
cause of death.
Like, oh, No, I wasn't here. I wasn't throwing shit down there, I swear.
Well, you know, it took him 6 hours to pull him out. Luckily, he was just severely dehydrated and broken legs, but non-life-threatening injuries. So the guy's gonna be fine, but he's gonna have a hell of a fucking story.
Yeah, a hell of a belt if he kept those
Dude.
3 snakes.
I hope he did. I hope he kept them and made something like, you know, maybe he could put like he can't make a full set of boots, but maybe he can make like a strip down some leather boots of rattlesnake.
Ooh,
He'd be like, you know how I got these snake boots? And we talking to the young guys at the bar. You know how I got these snake boots?
I got to jump down a 100-foot shaft. Did they just like lower like firemen down or something?
Yeah, a huge team of firemen had to sit there and figure out exactly the right approach because his legs are broken. They can't just like pick him up and like dangle him up. They had to put a fucking like stretcher down there and pull it up securely. So they had to basically build like a temporary like pulley system to pull this guy up out of there and be sure that they're not gonna fucking drop him or tip him. And that's why it took 6 hours. You know, you gotta be careful with this kind of rescue. You don't want to injure more people. Have fucking 3 firemen go flying down on top of them and just everybody's fucked. So there's a lot to be considered, you know, evaluation of like the structure. There's all kinds of shit to consider.
That's intense.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like 127 hours, but with snakes.
Dude, it's just such a badass story about an old man. Like, this dude's like Clint Eastwood, I'm imagining. Like, fucking snakes.
Just fucking fending off snakes with his bare hands.
Yeah, dude.
So we have another attack in our next story, but this is a father attacking a son with a chainsaw.
Oh my god.
This
Jesus.
happened in Tennessee.
Now-
Father. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, this is the story I'm looking forward to hearing about.
Yeah, the father who's 76. He attacked his son over an ongoing dispute by running out of their house. With a chainsaw, while the son was riding a like 0-turn lawnmower, like one of those ones that just like whip right around.
Yeah.
So the son didn't realize that he was like coming at him at first, and he turned right to go like around him, but then the father stepped in front of the mower and ended up getting run over by it.
While the blades were on?
Yeah, oh yeah. And fucking it went right over his leg, and he drops the chainsaw. The police end up showing up. He is booked into the hospital where his leg has to be amputated.
Oh my god.
And then he was after that received $25,000 bond on attempted murder charge, and is in jail without bond on additional violations of probation.
So Madman Mower's loose out there mowing people down?
He's still in jail with bond on additional violations of probation.
Oh wait, so it's the dad? The dad's free.
No, the dad has a leg amputated and is in jail.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
The son didn't do anything except try and mow the lawn.
But he's paying the price for it still.
the dad is. He tried to attack him with the chainsaw, ended up getting his leg amputated at the end of it all.
Yeah, but you said the son is in jail too, right?
Nope.
Oh, that's what I was asking you 3 questions ago, man.
Well, no, you said he's in jail. I said the father is in jail. He had his leg amputated. All this, that's why I said nothing happened to the son.
Oh, my
the son
bad.
Just mowing the lawn.
Oh, man.
The one who ended up in the bad situation.
I was gonna say.
The one who deserved it.
I was gonna say.
Out of the house with a chainsaw.
Okay. This
was some very quick justice served.
Man. Well, you never go at somebody with a chainsaw. That's the most terrifying thing you can do to a person.
I know you're not supposed to run with scissors, but scale that up, and it still applies. Like, still run with a chainsaw, and don't attack someone on a lawnmower, I guess, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should have waited for him to get off, man. Attack him when he's weak.
Be like, sneak up. That's the thing. You can't sneak up on people with a running chainsaw.
Oh, man. Well, our next story is a little break. It's kind of cute, I guess you could say. Some people think this is cute. I kind of think it's weird. We're talking about this lady. We'll just call her Stephanie. She has a bunch of chickens. She raises chickens. She's got a little chicken farm, right? Well, every Halloween, she likes to dress her chickens up in costumes. I don't think it's cute.
What kind of costumes?
All kinds of costumes.
Little
Halloween-themed sweaters, mainly.
You know,
you can't really keep anything on their head. Just like Christmas sweaters, or Halloween sweaters mainly. You know, like ugly Halloween sweaters. That's what it seems like to me.
And they have little like wing holes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because they're out there in their bare skin. She says they get cold, and she likes to cuddle her chickens as well. This is the other thing that I thought was like, it kind of turned me off the whole scenario. It's like, man, chickens are not a cuddly animal. What is your opinion?
I mean, they're soft, I guess, but they're dirty. Like,
yeah, they're like
the
fucking
phrase
dandruffy.
chicken shit. Like, it just like
nothing about a chicken.
It doesn't bring to mind good things. Like, chickens are a utility. Like, they're for food and like laying eggs and shit.
That's what I was gonna say. I was always taught never to play with my food, so this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Man,
and you know that's a big thing in like the urban farming community now too. Though is to like have a chicken that you kind of treat as a pet.
I guess. It all ends the same way. One day he's going to the house where he gets his shit
that's how you
cut.
get chicken pox.
Yeah, that's how. Oh, I thought you were gonna say that's how you get chicken nuggets, because that's definitely how you get chicken nuggets.
Oh yeah, true. If a chicken's in my house, it's becoming chicken nuggets real quick.
And I've got to say, I'm not alone with my view, because the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is also putting out a little PSA saying, "Hey, don't cuddle your chickens because you're liable to get salmonella."
Ooh. Yeah, that's not good. It's a wild animal at heart, you know?
Yeah. And meanwhile, the CDC has reported an outbreak of salmonella happened in 29 states this year, affecting 92 people. So it's not a crazy amount, but still, it could fucking kill you. And it's just disgusting. So no kids.
Especially if you have a weakened immune system or something.
Yeah. So no smooching up on your little chickens, man. Don't do it. I don't care how cute you think they are, even if you put little sweaters on them. You know, even if you dress one up as Godzilla, that would be the cool costume.
Oh, actually, that'd be cool. And then put them in a little city.
I would have like 100 little chicken Godzillas and be like, "Oh no, it's Godzilla!" Just run away,
like stomping through a Lego town. They say the same thing about cats, though. You know, there's the toxoplasmosis, which makes you more risk prone. It puts there's all kinds of shit that does to your brain with shit. Cuddling your cat. Same kind of thing. That's how diseases spread, man.
Yeah, dude.
Put costumes on chickens.
It's just it's dirty, man. It's just dirty.
Yes, it is.
Don't cuddle your chickens. And if you dress them up in a costume, it better be better than Godzilla.
Yeah, right. Another thing I would say that is pretty unhygienic is eating around dead bodies.
Yes. Disgusting.
Could I serve you a nice rigatoni parmesan,
dude,
next to a rotting corpse in the hot sun?
Oh man, I just couldn't imagine. I mean, obviously people get adjusted, you know, people that work in the industries where they have to deal with dead bodies, you know, if you're a coroner or whatever, I couldn't imagine ever eating. It would take me hours after seeing a dead body to want to eat. Right.
Well, in Acapulco in Mexico, there's some some pretty horrific violence going on these days, and it's a big tourist area. You know, there's a lot of resorts and stuff, and there's actually footage of of 2 bodies just kind of chilling there while a whole background of tourists are eating at one of these resorts. And it's a weird juxtaposition between, you know, death and people on vacation kind of not giving a shit.
Man.
I would not be able to be like, oh, let me go get seconds from the buffet, like, while this dude's head's just, like, exploded on the fucking pavement. Like,
dude, yeah. That's just crazy. It's just such a difference. In this case,
it was 2 people who had been, like, assassinated, and they had run into the resort with, like, a bunch of crowds of people. And I think they were the only 2 that ended up dying or being injured. But, like a few hours later, you know, everything was back to normal, besides the fact that there was a crime scene right there. You know, people are swimming, people getting served drinks. It is just a bizarre
fucking
scene.
dead bodies.
It's like
there.
The Purge or something.
It's just so weird, dude. It's just so weird. Like, I feel like the perimeter of shutting that place down should be a lot bigger. Like, shut that shit down.
Yeah, at least close down that restaurant for a little bit. But then, like, the thing is, tourism is, like, one of the main, like, money flows for, like, that kind of area. So if they let it affect it and they start shutting shit down, they get bad reviews, and people don't come, and then there's no jobs, and it just gets worse. So it's weird. I mean, it's a lot of violence. I'm not exactly sure politically what's going on down in Acapulco and Cancun and all that kind of stuff, but they're having a record tourist season. In 2017 alone, they had 1.3 million visitors.
Oh wow, that's a decent amount.
And they welcomed. The state had 1.3 million visitors, and Acapulco had almost 700,000 tourists, which was a 7% increase compared to the year before. Okay,
damn. So the majority of tourism is there.
Yeah, and Mexico is actually ranked 6th most visited nation on the planet in 2017.
Wow, that makes sense. Yeah, they got a lot of good coastal spots and shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a big, like, you know, money maker for them. It keeps a lot of the communities going. Even when I went to Puerto Vallarta, it was beautiful down there. It was a great city. Nothing like the violence that seems to be going on the other side. Yeah. But you could tell that tourism was a big driver of their economy. So yeah. I'm wondering what they're going to end up doing. They can't just really let violence like that go on forever and let people, you know, dine next to corpses. There was also some washing up on beaches, people taking selfies with them and shit like that. Creepy fucking shit.
Man, that is definitely fucking creepy. That's too much for me. Too much. Right? I'd be like, I'm out of here, man. Fuck this.
Let's stay in the room and get room service.
Oh God, people, man. People are weird. They get their own perspective. You know, I mean, it's just a difference in culture too. I feel like, you know, you accept things because it's not like, I don't know. A lot of the people probably aren't American too. You know, I don't know, man.
Well, I would say that no culture should accept.
Hey,
bodies chilling next to where they're eating.
I don't know. I'm trying to understand the perspective of it, man. To me, it's just so unreal. To me, it's just like, shut the fucking whole area down. It's a murder. All right, moving along, man. To people losing people. All right, this is one of the weirdest business ideas I've ever seen. Now, this isn't the first time we've heard of sex doll rentals. That's a thing that we've heard of before. We've talked about it. Now, we're moving this a step forward.
You rent them, we wash them.
Oh, I'm going to get into that. Don't actually wash them. Oh, I hope they do. I hope they do. This is why you don't do it. Anyway, this is a more niche sex doll rental, I should say, because what they do is they match up a photo of a deceased loved one, say your partner, that you miss, and they try to match up your partner with one of the sex dolls they have in their inventory, and then they book you.
Yeah, that looks like a Veronica.
It's close enough. Close enough. Now they're saying
Pop
it's
the
more.
Eyes out. We'll put other ones in. Fucking dead on.
Yeah, they're saying it's not just for like a sort of reason. It's more, you know, about giving people the comfort of the lost one being back and all that.
I think all you'll do is cry next to that thing in your bed.
Dude, speaking of corpses a couple minutes ago, Jesus, I feel like it's just like having their corpse there and it's like cold and gross. Like it's just like rubber. Ah, man. And who knows how many people have touched this damn thing.
Oh wait, is this one of the old rentals? This is how they're getting rid of them?
Dude, these are all rentals. You rent them. You don't keep them. You don't buy them to keep.
Oh.
It's because like, you know, the sex dolls they're realistic quotation, fucking. Wow. So they're really expensive. You know, they could be
more of like oh, you keep it kind of thing.
No. You bring old Sally back, and then they just pop out her vagina and put a new one in.
Do you have to lose them a second time? And then they're gonna like imagine you form a bond with it and you're trying to rent it every week.
I'll never let go.
And then you gotta think about all the other guys she like been next to crying.
That was my skull dropping.
Nope.
Man. Yeah, I just couldn't imagine. You gotta watch the postman take away your loved one.
It's like I hate these things. They're huge.
This is gross.
What do you do? Yeah. Cram them back into a box?
No, apparently they use a special
giant envelope.
They do come in a big ass box. Yeah, they do come in a big ass box. But apparently it's a special white glove 2-man courier service that they deal with that brings it right to your door. So it's not really like UPS or anything like that. It's
Imagine
fucking
one of those trucks spilled on the highway.
It's just fucking tits everywhere.
Bodies.
Rubber tits everywhere.
We're here on the scene on Highway 5 where there's bodies everywhere but no injuries.
It's like, how the fuck?
This is a very confusing news story.
Man. Well, you know, this is just realistically, this is an idea from a woman who's a businesswoman. She has a chain of tanning salons that are very successful. She got hooked on this idea after reading about the industry in a newspaper article a year and a half ago. And now it's booming for her. Her dolls are actually booked out weeks in advance, man. So it's like...
It's a long time to cry.
She found a market that was kind of untapped, I guess. It's just... Yeah, I don't... these dolls come back covered in all kinds of tears and substances I don't want to discuss.
Right.
Yeah. Man.
Just anything like... Yeah, anything like that you don't want to rent.
No.
I would say. That's
buy
like,
to own.
You're gonna go own it.
Rent to own, rather, from new. Like, God.
Rent to own. Yeah, that's probably the better way to go.
They gotta have a missing loved one replacement plan, pay to go type deal. Like, you know what I mean?
Some sort of like credit card company deal, like sponsored by Amex.
Yeah, it's not. You're not gonna like they roll in and you're like, okay, it's gonna be $10,000 to have the woman that looks like your wife. You're not gonna tell them like, oh, you don't have the money, fuck yourself. You know, all right, put $2,000 down and then we'll work from there.
Yeah, right.
Give him a chance.
We'll get you on the application for the Dead Loved One Platinum card with the 24% annual interest. So hopefully you're not spending your money on that. There are cooler things to buy than a replica of your dead loved one.
Hell yeah, man. You could buy all kinds of crazy shit these days.
Just offhand, gold-plated hippopotamus. I don't know,
Hell
Matt,
yeah.
what kind of things could you buy?
I don't know, maybe a drone?
Ooh, let's even pump that up and let's say drone with fireworks attached.
Oh, now you're thinking. Now you're goddamn thinking.
I think we're thinking of the same thing, which is our funny clip of the week. This is a funny clip that we found on Reddit. It's labeled War 2.0, but I like to call it War Never Changes. If you're a fan of Fallout 76 is on your brain like it is mine. This is a funny clip where they mounted, I'm guessing it's like an iPhone to a drone, and then Roman candles.
It's a decent video for sure, so it's definitely good quality, and oh my god, did they pull it off just right.
And it's edited well because they have like so it's the drone's view, and then if you're watching our live stream, you'll be able to see what we're talking about here. If not, we'll post it up on our Facebook page for you. But they cut together the head cams of the people being shot at by this drone with fireworks coming out of it, and the footage from the drone itself. It's miraculous. Macaulay's bird. It's literally what it looks like.
Oh my god.
It's like just hellfire raining from the sky.
the end of the world. It looks like from the ground cams. It's so fucking awesome.
This is the future of warfare if you think about it. There's gonna be just like rocket mounted drones fucking like lobbing shit. That's like Black Mirror shit right there.
Hell yeah, man. It's fucking crazy.
And I think we did see a cop car rolling up at the end of the video.
Yeah, I do believe that was the popo coming to say no.
Yeah, you can't have those fireworks firing off in the middle of this field. This looks like England or something, or like Russia.
I just imagine that poor cop's like, the aliens are here. The aliens.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine seeing a drone shooting
the machines
missiles.
have finally risen.
It's like, I've never seen a drone that could shoot missiles.
So we'll be posting that funny clip up on our Facebook page so that you can have a little laugh during your week.
Oh yeah. Speaking of things that'll make you laugh, we got a little promo from a friend at the Yes and I Am podcast, and then we got Spooker Slacker Stories. So we'll be right back.
Hi, do you like celebrities, comedy, and pop culture? Well, then I have the podcast for you. I'm Aaron Max, host of the Yes and I Am podcast, the podcast where we learn about people. Each week, we take comedians and improvisers and give them a celebrity to play, and I interview them. And guess what? Sometimes the comedians don't know who this celebrity is. And that's when the real fun comes in, and we learn a little something we didn't already know about these people. So go and check us out. We're on iTunes and all other podcast stores. We are Yes and I Am, and we will see you guys next time.
And we are back with some spooky slacker stories. This is I guess a variant, a Halloween variation, if you will, of our slacker history that we like to do, where we kind of dive in and find some real life nonfiction story to talk about that's interesting.
Yeah, a little bit too real, almost, you could say. And I'm going to start it off with something that's just, it involves kids, which always creeps me out, man. I don't like things happening to kids. They're a little innocent. They haven't even lived. Right. It's crazy, man. We're going to 1974, and we're talking about the O'Brien family of Pasadena, Texas. And we got Ronald, who's the father of two children, Timothy and Elizabeth, an 8 and 5-year-old. And it's occurring Halloween night. The family has dinner as normal, and then they meet up with the neighbors, the Bates family, and they go trick-or-treating like normal, a normal family thing, nothing out of ordinary. The kids go around the neighborhood, they have a fun time, and one of the treats that the kids had gotten through the whole trick-or-treating turned out to be giant pixie sticks.
Oh, okay. Like I remember those. From
you remember those, right? Yeah,
they're like the big plastic straw-looking.
Yeah,
things.
huge straw just filled with sugar. Yeah, and the kids get home with the dad, and the dad's kind of weird. He says, you guys should have some candy before you go to bed. So
that is odd. You normally don't want them hopped up on sugar.
Yeah. So he gives the kid the pixie stick. He's like, here, have this. Timothy had eaten one, and soon after, all of a sudden became vomiting, uncontrollable, like vomiting, like puking really bad, more than just the normal sickness, and then went into convulsions and ended up actually dying later at the hospital.
Holy shit. This kid was 5?
Yeah, this kid was 5 years old, man. Now, the hospital had done toxicology reports, and it turned out that he had cyanide in his system. So
that's
obviously
not like a common thing for a kid to get into.
Yeah. A little odd. Luckily, none of the other children had eaten their pixie sticks, so, he was the only one that actually ended up, he died, but, nobody else was injured, which this shit could really fuck you up. And, the one fucked up thing was through investigation, the police realized that later, like a few days earlier, that the father had turned out an insurance claim on the kids' lives. He had upped it to get a better payout. So sure enough,
what a monster, man.
Yeah, that leads it right to the dad, and immediately they figure out he really did, and he had financial difficulties, so he had increased the policies with this plan, and realistically he had poisoned multiple kids in the neighborhood and his own kids, both of his own kids, and he figured he was gonna, a bunch of kids in the neighborhood were gonna get sick or mostly die. He was gonna blame it on a neighbor, man. He was gonna try to plant shit and get this guy caught.
That's fucked.
It's the same neighbor that the family they went trick-or-treating with. Somebody you expect to be a friend, a neighbor that's a friend, trying to set you up like that. It's so
kill
scary.
A bunch of kids and set someone else up for it. That guy's a fucking creep.
Yeah, man. And they searched his house and they had found a pocket knife that had traces of the cyanide and candy on it. And it was easily traceable that Ronald had worked at Texas State Optical, where he obtained the cyanide. It was all traceable, so they literally figured it all out, and he was found guilty of first-degree murder and executed lethal injection. March of 1984, man. Yeah,
that's
he was
insane.
called the Candyman Killer on death row. Yeah.
Well, that's an applicable name for sure.
Yeah. And it's crazy, man, because you always hear these stories of, be careful with your candy, you don't want your kid to get poisoned, or the razor blade, and it's this is the only time I've ever heard of poisoning, and the only one that I saw online, and it was from a family member.
Yeah, it was his own parent. Yeah. They always say that, if you're gonna get murdered, though, it's someone it's rare that it'd be a stranger.
Random act of crime, unless
it's way more likely that it's someone close to you.
Yeah. Just
right
story,
behind you,
man.
Matt. Right behind you. So I have this is a couple stories that are kind of all interconnected by a theme, and I like to call this section that I'm presenting, It Looks So Real.
Okay.
Now, around Halloween time, it's customary to put up decorations, I even had, a decapitated head behind me.
Oh, didn't even notice that.
I have a skeleton hanging up. There's all kinds of creepy shit and a lot of it looks very realistic. And sometimes it actually is real.
Are you saying that skeleton is real? Do you have a skeleton in your closet normally? What is going on?
I won't tell.
Oh my God.
I'm presenting a couple of instances where these decorations turned out to not be decorations at all. People become accustomed to over-the-top decorations and have even endured crazy neighbors putting up all kinds of very graphic scenes, so people get used to it over time. Man. And in October of 2005, the corpse of a 42-year-old woman was left suspended in public view for hours in Frederica, Delaware, because her lifeless body was assumed to be just another Halloween display.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
The woman had hung herself from a tree located across from a moderately busy road from some homes, and her body was about 15 feet above the ground and could easily be seen by passing vehicles.
That's crazy. I was wondering if it was a suicide or murder, but oh, man. That's crazy. You just assume it's a really lifelike decoration.
Right, and that's not the only time, In mid-October of 2009, the decomposing body of a 75-year-old suicide victim sat undisturbed on a balcony of a Marina Del Rey, California apartment building for several days because neighbors assumed it was just part of a Halloween decoration display.
Man, like, was he just like sitting in a chair, you think? Like laying back and just dead?
We have quotes actually from the investigators. They said, the body was in plain view of the entire apartment complex, and they all did nothing. It's very strange. It did look unreal, to be honest. They thought it looked like a Halloween dummy, essentially, so...
What an insult to that poor man.
Be very careful when you go up onto those porches this Halloween and you see all the decorations around, because some of it may look real and some of it might be real.
Oh, chilling words from the slackers here, man.
Trying to creep them out.
If there's anything you should take home from this episode, it is that. And also, hey, don't trust your dad if he tries to hand you a pixie stick. I'm just saying, I don't care how cool dad is. Dad could have some tricks up his sleeve.
Right? Get that candy from the fucking CVS yourself.
Oh, man.
It's the only way to guarantee.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
So we have a little bit more Halloween shenanigans planned here. We're gonna be getting into the Halloween version of the Wheel of Weird. But before we do that, I would like to present to you another creepy podcast called Murderous Minors and Killer Kids.
This is Murderous Minors, Killer Kids, bringing you the frightening and truly insane tales of children with the thirst to kill. Kindergarten through 12th grade murderers. True stories thoroughly researched. Join us weekly for new tales of parents' worst nightmares on Murderous Minors, Killer Kids.
That's really fucking weird.
And we are back, and it is time for the Wheel of Weird Halloween edition.
I want to give Matt some big round of applause for the awesome video intros that he's been making.
Well, thank you.
They're blowing me away.
Thank you.
And now we even have an upgraded Wheel of Weird.
Man, the budget has been spent. We spared
all those
no expense on
Patreon
this
dollars.
wheel. We spared no expense. We had a programmer come out from Silicon Valley. He made us the ultimate wheel. It is high budget. Wait till you see this thing. It is crazy. Before we get to unveiling the brand new Wheel of Weird, do you want to let the people know what we got going on here?
Yeah, the Wheel of Weird, normally we dive into the wiki unusual pages and just pull out, a person, place, and thing that we then spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, we let you know what those are. But this time around, we have a Halloween version. So these are all like creepy, sort of Halloween holiday related person, place, and thing.
Oh, yeah.
So this time around for person, we got Evil Clowns.
Oh.
For place, we got Bubbly Creek.
Intriguing.
And for thing, we got Licorice Poisoning.
Okay. That's licorice poisoning. Like, man. All right, so we got another candy incident going on.
Let's see what we're gonna find out about.
So, are you ready, people? You ready to see this brand new wheel?
Place your bets.
Look at it. Ready? Oh, shit. Look at that. Look at that thing, would you? Here we go. She's a spinning.
Am I doing it the right way?
You're going the opposite way. You just give up. Just give up.
Going up.
Oh, we got place. That's
place.
What we're sticking with. We're sticking with place.
So we are talking about Bubbly Creek, which is the nickname given to the South Fork of the Chicago River. It runs within the city of Chicago, and it marks the boundary between a couple of communities. And the name Bubbly Creek comes from the gases bubbling out of the riverbed from decomposing blood and entrails dumped into the river in the early 20th century from the local meatpacking business around the stockyards in that area.
Oh, man, that's crazy. It's just a river full of corpses.
It pretty much like pig and probably cow corpses, like all just like thrown in there,
buried under the bottom, and then like now it's just like bubbling up all the gases from decomposition. Oh
yeah, and there's huge fish that are feeding on it. Apparently, there's like quotes from in 1906. Actually, if you're familiar with Upton Sinclair and The Jungle, that time when he was going in and looking at the meat packing plants and writing stories in the papers about it. He commented on Bubbly Creek saying that the bubbles of carbonic gas will rise to the surface and burst and make rings 2 or 3 feet wide.
What?
And the grease and filth have caked solid, and the creek looks like a bed of lava. Chickens walk about feeding, and many times an unweary stranger has started to stroll across and vanish temporarily. Ugh. Oh. People just sinking into this blood river in the 1900s.
Oh, dude.
The present situation, I'm hoping, is a little better. It says 2 heavily polluted streams that joined to create the South Fork River were later filled in. As of 2017, the Army Corps of Engineers were considering $2.65 million in a feasible study to look at restoration options, and it's so it's still not in the best of conditions. I'd say it's on swimmability. It's probably way below the Hudson River.
And the Hudson's pretty grimy. Hudson is grimy.
Yeah, but we both swam in it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Regrettably, yes, we have swam in the Hudson, and you come out and you just reek like some kind of dirty water. Like,
right?
No, there's body ships, there's PCBs, there's all kinds of goodies in that water.
At least it's not bubbling entrails of cow carcasses from the 1900s.
Hey, there might be a couple in there. There's just not as many, I guess.
Yeah, not as many. Not enough to give it a name like Bubbly Creek.
Yeah.
So,
man.
So that's our Wheel of Weird. We'll post up the Wiki Unusual page for you to read on our Facebook page, and make sure you go check that out.
Hell yeah, check it out. And now it's about time where we wrap this sucker up. Thank you for tuning in for the Halloween special. It's been a lot of fun. Hey, stop over by the Facebook page. Keep up to date with us. We got a lot of cool shit coming out soon. And you might see something fun, Halloween related, still out of our sleeves. Also, check out the American Slackers group. There's a bunch of other slackers just like yourself. It's a lot of fun. And the Instagram is the spot where you can get the art and promos for each and every show, American Slacker Podcast, so that you find us there. And conveniently, AmericanSlackerPodcast.com is where you'll find the main hub, or ASPodcast.com.
You can also talk to us on Twitter and Reddit at AMERSLKR Podcast. Make sure to retweet that pin tweet to try and get that shout out. All of our content, well, some of our content is going over onto YouTube. We're kind of making some executive decisions here as to what we're putting out on there and what we're going to put on Patreon. And we'll keep you updated as that kind of comes along. Please rate and review us on iTunes. 5 stars or nothing. That's what we like to say. We also like to say, tell a friend, create another slacker.
Oh, yeah.
And a big thank you to anyone watching the Facebook Live.
And if you want to get in contact with us, send us an email, AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com. And check out the Spotify playlist where you can find artists that we featured on the show, some that have been on the show. And hey, you can check out the show there too. American Slacker Podcast. You'll find us on there.
You can also visit our Patreon at patreon.com/American Slacker Podcast. We have tons of rewards up on there, like getting your name on the little ticker that's been running below our live stream here. So some slackers that we want to give a shout out to: Dave Gunn, Seth Anders, Kyle Nolan Bradford from the Crime Roulette Podcast, and Aaron W. from the Yes and I Am Podcast. Thank you for your support. And also, please, if you want to check out some of our merch, hopefully we'll be putting more stuff up there soon. Go to either our website, aspodcast.com, or americanslackerpodcast.bigcartel.com.
And if you want to catch us on our personal shit, you can get at me on Instagram at MWG Media, and my gamer tag on Xbox Live, Matty G from HP.
And you can find me on Instagram and Xbox at Landers the Plane. And you know what? If you're hitting us up on Xbox and you have some like weird name and we don't like know who you are, just send us a message first and be like, hey, I added you because of the show. Because we've had people like sending us party messages and we're just like, who the fuck is this? But they know both of us.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, we figured out. Yeah. So just let us know if you're like a podcast follower or whatever. Otherwise, we think
before
you're
you start sending us random party messages.
We're worried you're gonna abduct us with candy in the back of a van. So
it's very tempting.
It is very tempting. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love each and every one of you, and we're looking forward to talking to you a little more. So until next time, be safe out there, and that's it.
There you go. Got another show to do.